I should preempt all this by saying that my views do not represent those of the Buffalo Police Department, nor am I speaking on behalf of the Buffalo Police Department.
What's up, everybody? Mikey with the Freedom Friends here. I got John and Scott with me. And today we're doing a quick little expose. We have on the line our good friend, Rich High, a.k.a. you might know him as Angry Cops. And he's going through some stuff, and we're going to talk about it. This is a topic that we touched on the podcast. We didn't say very much about it because we didn't want to take anything away from Rich, as well as the importance of what we're actually doing. So with no further ado, man, I'm going to give it over to Rich High, man. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming through.
Not much, man. Yeah, just, I'm living the dream as I, get lambasted by my local media who thinks that I'm a controversial cop when all I'm trying to do is, help the children of Buffalo. Real reassuring. I'm sure everybody is going to do the right thing now and go to the news. They're doing a great job.
Rich, let's prove them right. What are you doing right now?
Oh, what am I doing right now? While my city's news agencies call me the controversial cop and try to bring up all my investigations.
Yeah, are you in your city right now?
No, I'm actually in Boston.
Oh,
I'm here in Boston because I'm here for the NCCC, which is like a cyber law enforcement thing, and I was brought here by the NCPFT, which is the National Child Protection Task Force, PTF, right? Yeah, task force, the National Child Protection Task Force, and they wanted me to come here because 6 months ago we had 50 cases that we brought to them of missing children. And they were like, hey, Rich, would you like to bring like 40 or 30 cases of missing children to Boston so that we can solve them in real time? And I'm like, yes, that sounds like a good idea. So while my city is shitting on me for trying to save kids, I'm literally in another city trying to find the missing children of Buffalo.
So what a nightmare person you are.
Yeah, it's pretty controversial.
Obviously, you're such a bad guy.
And it's got to be a PR stunt because, I was scheduled to do this months ago, be here and find some more, missing children cases that were an issue. So it must be a PR stunt. I'm sure that's how they'll spin it.
Now, if you're not picking up on his sarcasm, it's because he's laying it on really, really thick, and you're a moron if you're not picking it up.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is Channel 4 and Channel 2 are very rude, and I don't understand how they can't just center in on the fact that maybe children need some help and not continue to throw me under the bus.
Have they reached out to you?
Yeah, Channel 4 and Channel 2 have. I don't give interviews to Channel 4 because they're garbage. Because all they do is, for every single story about me that they've ever done, whether it's the first half or the second half of it, they try to disparage me and make me look incompetent or dirty. And Channel 2 is now on my bad list because when I was very nice to the man who asked, would you like to give an interview? I said, listen, I don't have a relationship with you. And there's been a lot of times where the news has painted me in a negative light. And right now, I'm not the center of the story. The children are. Yeah. So I just don't feel comfortable giving you an interview. And they were like, okay, well, guess what they did? They went on the news and one of their gray-haired freaking anchormen decided to disparage me all over for like the last 30 seconds, minute of a story. By the way, he's been this and that. I'm like, all right, you know what? This is why I went on podcasts and I didn't go on local media.
Yeah.
Right. Podcasts, by the way, that get hundreds of thousands of more views than your channels.
For sure. And go national and not just regional, right? Like, I mean, because this is a national problem, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. The amount of people that have emailed me and sent me messages on Twitter or X. Sorry, Elon. It's insane. People from Ohio, people from the Midwest, people from the South, the East Coast, West Coast, Canada. I had a victim in one of my cases that I'm investigating right now message me on my work phone and said, I saw you in the video and I don't want to get into it. It's going to make me cry. But she said some very nice things about me and how she was a victim in the past for some stuff. And she wishes that I would have been there and she's happy for me. So she's very, very nice.
Yeah. Buddy, not all heroes wear capes. Think of it that way.
Well, The Daily, what was it? The Daily, not the Daily Planet, which is the one that shit all over Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was the Daily Planet.
Was it the Daily Planet?
Yeah, with James Jameson.
Yeah. I feel like that. I feel like I'm your neighbor. I'm a really crappy Batman.
You're a really poor Batman.
I'm like, yeah, I'm the poor man's Batman. I'm walking around in just like a COVID mask. And I'm like, where are the children? Oh, Jesus. Holland. And I don't have any of the money, but yet, the news is still slandering me.
And now for people who don't know what the hell we're talking about, because we barely touched on it on the I'm gonna give the quick cliff notes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on anything. Essentially, you went on the Unsubscribe podcast,
yep.
and you essentially blew the whistle on the Buffalo School District and their mishandling of certain instances, right? And how it's becoming a serious problem because you can't seem to get traction on actually getting it to work. You've tried to go through the appropriate channels according to them. You've tried to go through all of the things by the book that you're supposed to do. And it came down to the point where you're too frustrated and you needed to actually get the word out there. So you went on the Unsubscribe show. Is that accurate?
Basically, that's pretty close. What had happened is we kept running into issue after issue after issue. And we realized that the solution to the problem was, higher up the food chain than the Buffalo Police Department. This is something that like the Attorney General's office needs to look into. And honestly, the most recent case with the two kids being abducted and the schools and the school deliberately trying to, tank that case with the destruction of evidence. Well, I can't say deliberately, right? They destroyed evidence. That doesn't mean that they deliberately tanked it, but however, they destroyed evidence, and that whole story was just like, I was like, that's it. That's
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. I was like, nothing in the world is going to be able to fix this faster than sunlight.
Yeah.
So I put it out in the sunlight.
Yeah. Have you caught any slack from your department over it yet?
No news is good news.
Yeah.
My union has been very supportive. They put out a statement supporting me.
I saw that.
Fantastic guy, our union president.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, is not being suspended, continuing, my ability to investigate, crimes against kids and, domestics, etc., assaults of all the worst kinds. Like that's good. I like that.
Yeah. And what really irked me about it, like I called you yesterday because I just wanted to check on you, man. I wanted to make sure you were okay. I know there was the fucking media firestorm that you're dealing with right now is bananas in and of itself. But also, your job inherently takes a toll on your own mental health as well, man. And so I wanted to check on you and make sure you were good because you and I are buddies, and I give a shit. But on the other side of that, as a father, this stuff hits me deep, dude. Like children are a vulnerable population, and we need guys out there that have their back. And the one place that we want our kids to be safe is at school. It's the one place
you assume that the school is looking out for their best interest.
You would hope so
as a parent, right?
And you need that, man, because if you don't, it's like where's the peace of mind for the parent? You know what I mean?
Well, be careful, guys. You sound like me. You're going to have, my local news stations come after you soon.
No, we're uncounselable.
That you're drinking and smoking, and that you're all bad guys. Don't you dare burp on this. Otherwise, nobody's going to take you seriously.
Oh, God. To be fair, they were drinking Whiskey Charlies. We're not allowed to say the word of those on this podcast.
Yeah.
You're allowed to.
If I was the news media, I would have said that you guys need to step up your drinking game.
Yeah.
Like you weren't.
I mean, we at least have whiskey and bourbon, dude.
It was like 3 White Claws per guy. We had been talking for 3.5 hours.
And that's why I would have drilled in on you.
You wanted more. You wanted some more. You're like, Rich is really going to let
they drink
if
like
he takes
children.
a couple of shots of tequila.
What really bugged me about this whole situation, though, probably more so than the fact that you had to shout it from the rooftops, is the response from the local media and the morning show hosts who decided it was a good idea to focus on you rather than protecting children, rather than
or
exposing like the actual problem. They're like, well, this guy he's had a checkered past with the PD and all this. And it's like, you're paying attention to the wrong part of the story. You know?
Poor Ed. Ed is just getting torn apart.
Oh, he's getting ripped up.
Twitter.
Yeah.
He's getting ripped. And you know what? Honestly, I don't mind his reporting. I found him entertaining, and he's intelligent. I've liked his reporting. And then when I saw him start talking on the morning show and being like, the first thing that I saw is these guys drinking and being foul. And I was like, dude, no, you didn't. And I was like, get ready for the flood walls to break, man, because what you just did without you realizing it is you shit on the medium of which I was able to put out this information. He even says something like, why would you go on a podcast and say this? Because it gets hundreds of millions of views more than your show.
Yeah,
and because if I go on there, I don't have to worry about defending myself. I can talk with my friends. I can let it out. I can emote. I'm in a safe place where I know I'm not going to be attacked with a random question by somebody who doesn't feel or care about the things that I feel or care about.
Plus, you get 45 minutes to an hour or 3 hours to actually talk about the details instead of a minute and a half piece that's been edited and cut to look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, that portrays you as what they're doing right now, the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Or maybe not even the bad guy as much, but like, can we trust him? Like, why is the onus on can you trust me and not, wait a second, what did he say? Why don't we focus on what I said, not whether or not like you like the medium that I put the information out on.
Right.
And I made a joke about it on Twitter. I was like, oh, better watch out. You know, we should probably not listen to Joe Rogan about anything because he's been high and drunk on his podcast hundreds of times with every single one of his guests.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here? How do you jump from that illogical leap?
Right.
Well, what would your ulterior motive be?
Yeah. I guess to get fired as quickly as possible.
Yeah. You know what I think would be a really good time? Let's save some kids, but I'm going to tank my career in the process. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
Who would have possibly thought that that my controversial stance in life is, hey, these kids need help because they're being sexually abused and physically abused.
Right.
Who would have thought that that was like a bad stance to have? Apparently, the local news media in the city of Buffalo thinks that is a horrible stance.
Well,
and that I'm a bad man, and you should let everybody know how bad I am.
How's the response from like the community been? Like,
oh my God, it's been overwhelmingly positive.
Like, parents got to have your back on this.
Dude, I think I have over 100 emails from parents, like just overall, over all the emails that I've gotten. I think I've got over 100 emails. I mean, if you look on Twitter, if you look on Instagram, the amount of messages of positive support that I've gotten on my phone from people that I know that I haven't heard of, people that I used to rent out my lower half of my house to, like messaged me. I haven't talked to them in like a decade. And they're like, Rich, we know it's been, a decade, but we see what you did. Our kids go to Buffalo Public Schools. Thank you so much. It's like it's if it wasn't for that, I would have lost my mind and just wondered how the hell the world went.
Yeah. So there is a beacon of hope that I'm just excited for the day when all of this media people.
The beacon of hope is Twitter. How twisted is that? The beacon of hope are the trolls on Twitter.
It's crazy.
That are standing up for me.
It's crazy. Like if you go to their posts, like I went over to what is it? WB something. I don't even remember.
WBEN is the nice radio station. They were very nice to me. They had Dave Bellavita talk to me for a little bit in the morning.
Like Cody and Brandon and all those guys, they were putting stuff up, and WKBN.
Is that Channel 4?
Yeah, I think so. Brandon Herrera tweeted it, and he was like, the hypocrisy of WKBN is astounding here. Attacking angry cops for being willing to risk his career to protect children from being abused. And this is after it already come through, and they had talked about your rocky past and all that. Which, by the way, in my opinion, not that rocky, man.
Yeah,
not that rocky. What have you done?
You're a police officer.
You took care of a drunk judge one time, famously, and a fucking bum that spit on your car while you were in military uniform, not even in police capacity. You got into it with, but
dude, people bring that up because it's like a race thing. That guy had over half a dozen 911 calls on him because he was flashing people his junk on the side of the road, trying to hit cars with his skateboard and people. And then when the police got there with the behavioral health team, there was no complainant. Like, it was people that were driving by on 911. So if you don't have like a complainant that says, I can ID that man, he's the issue, he did this, right? If you don't have anybody to verify that when you're there, you can't affect an arrest. And the man's sane. He had a behavioral health, like, what do you call it? Like, specialist, psychiatrist, counselor. I think it's a counselor. Talk to him. And they were like, all right, yeah, he's just a little weird and nobody's here. We're not going to affect an arrest and we're not going to send him to get mental health. He's good. Literally 3 minutes later, guess who rode down the street and almost me? And then I get in a fist fight with this guy, and the news acts like I beat a better angel. No, that guy actually had previously robbed his mom at knife point and had defaced an Abraham Lincoln statue and was arrested, I think, shortly after that for that. One of the detectives was like, hey, that's actually one of the guys that defaced the statue during, I think, the riots or one of the protests. He's got to be arrested. And I'm like, oh, that'd be really nice if the news would say that.
Kind of like the father from Maryland that got deported.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that's just,
So like the news is going kind of hard in the paint against you on this. Are they involved?
I mean, listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
why else would you go hard in the paint against somebody that's trying to help missing and kidnap kids? Like, and I mean, I just can't understand their angle.
If they have a relationship with the Buffalo School Board because they want to get information and they don't, without having concrete evidence from myself presented to them, I think that they would probably, grease each side of the tracks and be like, all right, we're going to put this out here. But because we have a relationship with the Buffalo School Board, we're still going to play like the angry cops is a weird rogue agent kind of thing. Right. Well, then guess what? Guess what happened? I believe one of the ladies, I forget from which news station, messaged me and said, we have copies of some of the police reports. And I was like, oh, do you now? So we got to remove like the paragraphs about me being a rogue agent.
Yeah.
Which once again, like the major thing that really frustrates me about this is it's not so much that they're coming after me. Like, I expected blowback. I'm not dumb. Sure. The thing that blows my mind is how they're trying to make the story about me when it should 100% be about these kids.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's so frustrating.
Well, this is what kills me is the official statement from the Buffalo Public School System from April 26th is Buffalo Public School District is aware of unfortunate and recent allegations circulated in an online video. The district is prepared to vigorously address these untruths. The district has prioritized the safety and security of its students and staff every day. BPS is the second largest district in New York State with some 60 schools, 30,000 students, and 7,000 staff, and transgressions that may happen are handled swiftly with seriousness, integrity, fairness, and empathy. First of all, you guys know my feeling on empathy. It doesn't exist. Anyways, the Buffalo Public School System maintains a close and professional relationship with the Buffalo Police Department as a means to ensure that safety is a priority. And that's the only thing they've said. But the fact is that they said untruths. How do you know?
But anybody who defends it like that, and they can't admit that there might have been a couple failures.
Yeah. Is terrifying.
Right? It's terrifying.
That's a level of arrogance that is dangerous.
Like, I'm generally a good guy.
Well,
there might be a couple instances where I was a big piece of shit.
Like when people litter.
Well, that's my pet peeve. That's not what I do.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, if you're going to defend yourself and say, no, we are perfect 100% of the time. Well, then it's a lie. I mean, it's obviously, yeah.
And
like, nobody can be 100% perfect.
Like, the audacity of that statement is disgusting.
Yeah, it should have been. That statement should have said, we will do our best to get to the bottom of any slipping through the cracks that there may have been.
Give us some time. We'll put another statement on our findings.
I don't understand it.
But. I should preempt all this by saying that my views do not represent those of the Buffalo Police Department, nor am I speaking on behalf of the Buffalo Police Department.
And we
Justin, clip that and put it at the beginning.
Put it right at the beginning.
We'll throw that at the beginning, Rich.
Yeah,
Yep,
we'll clip that and put it at the beginning.
I have to make sure that I follow the rules. I don't want to get in trouble.
Absolutely, dude. And because I think it's so sad to me that you even have to take that precaution as a peace officer, as a sworn member of the Buffalo PD that protects and serves that community every single day, day in, day out. The fact that you have to cover your six like this because of the media firestorm that you're dealing with up there, the backlash from the school system, the backlash from the city. Thank God your union guys are on your side. Thank God for that, actually.
Well,
we were very strong and a very intelligent and supportive union. I really do appreciate my
phenomenal.
guys in the union office.
And because that is not the case in a lot of departments around the country. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you have that support at least.
You know, in a perfect world, though, according to some people, you would just clock in, do what you had to do, and go home and not give a shit about anything. Right?
Yeah, dude, I
like. Oh wait,
there are some days I wish I could do that, man.
I know, right? But that
wouldn't be you though, dude.
Yeah,
no, it wouldn't be.
You know, like that wouldn't be you.
You know what's funny is before the video came out, I think I tweeted it the other day. Before the video came out, I was up at like 12, and I was off duty, and my phone rang, and it was my work phone. I looked over at it. And I was just like, I'm not answering my phone. I'm off duty. Like, why are they calling at midnight? What the hell's going on? And I let it ring. And then I sat there for literally, I think 30 seconds, and I saw it go to voicemail. And I was like, shit. And I picked up my phone and I went in the other room because my wife was asleep. And I called the number back and I was like, hey, what's going on? It was a parent to a child of a potential sexual assault. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? I've been trying to get a hold of you. Thank you so much for calling me. And this parent was like, oh, I didn't expect you to pick up at midnight. And I was like, that's all right. And then I hung up and I got the information that I wanted. And then I put out in a tweet, I was like, you know, for all the people that say that cops suck, you know, I just answered my phone on an off duty at midnight to try and help out the parent of a potential victim.
Yeah.
And then I've got, you know, and then the video went out, and then I've got channel 2 and 4 breathing down my neck. Glorious.
I mean, just the tone deaf of their reporting is all it does is perfectly illustrate the absolute racket that mainstream media has become.
Yep.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing.
Like the fact that like they're not willing to actually
research anything.
Like journalists used to take pride in what they did.
Yeah, the days of Walter Cronkite are fucking long gone.
Right.
You know
what I said?
It's
I
so
said to
crazy.
I said to one of the reporters that talked to me, and they were like, "Hey, what's going on? You know, what do you think about this?" I go, "Hey, listen, I don't understand why everybody wants to put in, you know, my past. Like, I've been investigated by the department and the AG's office. And the worst things that they found is that I said bad words to a robbery suspect and that I got in a car accident. Like, why does everybody have to bring that up? Why isn't this focused on the kids?" And the reporter said, "Well, it's kind of who you are. It's, you know, it's your background." And I was like, sweet. So when everybody talks about Hillary Clinton, do we say Hillary Clinton, whose husband got a blowjob in the Oval Office every time? Or do we just go with Hillary Clinton saved, you know, a hospital full of puppies today? Like, what are we doing? Maybe we don't need the context that doesn't matter.
Right.
Maybe we focus on the right part of the story, and the right part of the story is protecting children.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so fucking frustrating, man. I can't imagine, man.
I mean, congratulations to those news people that have just like showed their hand. You wonder why nobody wants to talk to the news anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, if you go over to their Twitter, to their X, like they are getting drugged, man. Like, because every one of their posts has like 3 comments, 2 comments on all of their posts. Maybe it got retweeted like 4 times or whatever, you know?
Right.
And then like the ones about you, there's like thousands. And it's just like boom.
I'm
boom,
not
boom.
trying to toot my own horn here, but like if everybody in the comments is saying, hey, dum-dum, maybe you focus on the kids and maybe you don't drag the guy that's trying to help the kids. Maybe you should look at that, take a little mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and go, maybe I'm the problem. Yeah. You like that hand thing, didn't you?
I do. Yeah. I did.
You did.
Yeah. Well, that and I just can't stop looking at your pinkies. It's my favorite pinky.
Channel 4 tried to get me to do an interview, and they broke my fingers. But I still wouldn't talk. I wouldn't do it.
Tried to good thing that SEER school training paid off.
Yeah, don't stolen valor me. I never went to SEER school.
Oh, okay. That's the last thing he needs right now.
Oh, how many Purple Hearts you got? Oh, it's not Tim Kennedy. Never mind.
Yeah, my bag of grenades is back in Da Nang.
Maybe Brandon Herrera can lend you one.
Yeah, he's got Purple Heart now. That's right. Well, I mean, it was funny because when you went on, matter of fact, that same show, and you mentioned me about wearing my Purple Heart for that video you did a while back.
Oh yeah, I looked down at your rack and I was like, Mikey, is there a Purple Heart on your? You're like, yeah, man, I got shot. Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good.
I don't
like this.
Rich,
I don't like this.
All of the other medals are still stolen valor too.
Yeah, just that one, like
well, that's because he faked that. He made his own. Yeah, that's not mine. I wore a costume. He's the one that actually put that bullshit together.
That's true. Matter of fact, that uniform that you wore in that video, I took it from you, put it in my closet, and it has not moved.
He smells it once a week.
I do. I like to. Rich
I have a lingering odor.
Yeah. Well, it's chest hair, man. It just kind of hangs out. And you are notoriously hairy.
That's true.
That's
true. I wore my muscle shirt to sit next to Nicholas to show him that he could be replaced, but I also trimmed my body hair. Now I'm seeing that I should not have, so I could have been as hairy as him.
I mean, Nick is a hairy guy.
It's we're built for warm or for cooler weather.
Oh, I dig it, dude. Same, man. Chest hair extraordinaire, right here.
Chest hair extraordinaire.
That's right. That was my OnlyFans. That's what it was called.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm sorry, but there are people that are coming in this office and I have to let you go.
Absolutely, buddy.
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Dude,
I will.
Always welcome. Thank you so much. Please keep us posted on this stuff, man. I hope it works out. I'm sorry that you have to go through it. And honestly, for all the Freedom Friends listening out here, should throw some support behind Rich, man. You can find him at Angry Cops on every platform, but also just look into what's going on with this, man, because this is serious stuff. And thanks for taking the time, buddy. I know you're busy, and do me a favor, go get a North Shore roast beef while you're there.
I will, bud. Thanks. Love you guys. I'll see you.
Take it easy.
Love you, buddy. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for listening to this special Freedom Friends report. It's gross. It's gross that the media is taking the side and not focusing on what the real issue is, right? Yeah. Like, it's so frustrating.
Well, I mean, it's the easiest way to explain this for people to understand, like, the severity of it. It's fucking Epstein Island, but in Buffalo.
That's a really good metaphor.
Right?
Yeah.
People know shit went down, but for some fucking reason, the media just doesn't want to dig into it.
Yeah.
And they're just going to look at everything else instead.
I go back to the school board claiming that they're perfect, right?
Yeah. How dare you?
You're a school board. There's probably several schools, several people involved. How can you be perfect?
Well, I just said there's 30,000 students.
Yeah, maybe focus on a couple of the failures and try to improve.
You're telling me out of 30,000, there's not 10 fucking problems?
Right.
Well, how do you call them untruths without investigating it?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you investigated it, where's your investigation?
Right. And look at
the defamation lawsuit that I think he should fucking file after this is going to be fucking gorgeous.
What's the big picture of Rich High though? For me, it's somebody who stands up for the underdog or the victim.
Literally,
everything.
Rich is doing everything fucking job right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, even all the funny videos and stuff, he stands up for injustice. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just speaks that speaks volumes of his character and his level of integrity. And the fact that these spineless news anchors, these spineless school board individuals, just how dare you? You know what I mean? Just how dare you, dude? Like, you have no idea what sacrifice is. You have no idea what, true sacrifice means and the toll it takes on an individual, on families, on things like that. How dare you question his integrity and call what he's doing an untruth? How dare you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what grosses me out.
Yeah.
So
it's like who in the school board is involved?
Well,
I don't know, and
like somebody has to be in the know of what's going on in order to put out such, what's the word I'm looking for?
Forceful statement.
Yes. Like that statement, that holds a lot of fucking weight. Essentially what you're saying is every single thing that Buffalo PD is looking into is not true.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have a department investigating like multiple cases, not just like one or like, hey, this might have happened, like multiple shit. And instead of being like, hey, you know what? Our official statement is we're working closely with the Buffalo Police Department and getting to the bottom of any allegations that are going on. We will put out a statement. If you have any questions, especially parents, please reach out, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that be the statement?
Right? Instead, you're saying that every single thing that they're investigating is an untruth, is not true, is complete and total bullshit. Yeah. And you've already got to the bottom of that.
And tell me why. Why would he lie? Give me, it makes no sense.
This is from the superintendent of their school. It is my great pleasure to serve as your superintendent of schools. Unfortunately, over the weekend, some untrue allegations were shared about the Buffalo Public Schools, and I want to personally reassure you that I truly appreciate the dedication, hard work, and passion you bring to our schools and the students and families we serve each and every day. Your professionalism and commitment to providing a learning environment that is welcoming, safe, and inclusive of all students. You lost me there, bitch.
Yep.
And families does not go unnoticed. In addition, our centrally located staff, service center staff, bus aides, and drivers also support our prioritization of safety and security for all campuses, buses, and offices, and providing an excellent education. As your superintendent, please know that I am proud to work with so many caring and talented people. I want to personally thank you for your continued support and dedication. Sincerely, fuckbag Tanya M. Williams Knight.
Now, okay, I'm not going to completely shit on this. Other than the untruth, right? So what her purpose here is to send this to her staff and say, hey, you're not all bad.
She hates her husband.
Clearly.
What? I don't get.
No, look how she signed her husband's last name.
Yeah.
She fucking hates him.
Yeah.
She didn't even try to make it look like the rest of her signature.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He won.
Anyway,
Mr. Knight watches her bang black dudes and from the cuck chair. That's what I think. I said it.
Go ahead, Scott.
So is Rich saying that the Buffalo Public Schools as a whole is a corrupt and bad system?
Not once did he ever say that.
Not once did he ever say that.
No.
Is there some
crimes?
Is there some shortcomings?
He never said anything about the Buffalo Public Schools.
No.
He said, hey, I'm investigating some things that have to do with children that are in your school district.
And you won't respond to subpoenas
at
all.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem.
I'm not.
But as far as the school staff goes, right? You can't call the whole staff's bad. And I don't think Rich is doing that.
No, I'm not the best at
He's definitely not.
But you also can't say that there's no fucking problems.
I'm not the best at recognizing red flags in my personal life. I like to think they're more like a parade for me.
Can confirm.
But if in general, not Buffalo Public Schools, not members of Congress, not criminals, in general, if you're subpoenaed for something and you refuse to show up, that shows me more guilt than anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you're not hiding anything or you're not guilty,
or you don't actually want to figure out what the problem might be.
Or you just blatantly fucking deny without even as much as looking into it.
Right.
Like when was this is from April 28th. All right. Which means that was from yesterday.
And as the time of recording this, it is April 29th. So yesterday.
So this is from yesterday. Unsubscribe dropped when? What,
this weekend?
Saturday, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's Tuesday today for context. So yeah, we're talking about 3 days ago. How did you find out that they are untruth?
Right.
In 3 days, 2 of which days were a weekend.
Yeah.
How did you find out? What did you do, Superintendent Williams Knight? What did you do to ensure that your statement here is not slanderous and untrue in and of itself? You did nothing. You did fucking nothing. You wrote this on a Monday.
And what if you're completely innocent in all of this and the allegations are true?
Then you're still innocent.
No, then now you're guilty.
Now you're guilty.
Right.
Now you're complicit.
Right. Like you should look into this as a superintendent.
Well, so here, what this says here is some untrue allegations were shared about the Buffalo Public Schools.
Yeah. How does she know they're untrue?
How do you know? That's what I'm saying. It got talked about. It dropped on Saturday. You wrote this on Monday. You probably wrote it Sunday, and it got sent out on Monday.
Yeah.
How do you know?
What's also fucked up is it says, oh, my bad. I misread that. Sorry. I thought it was saying that it was untrue about the school, students, and families. So I read that as like they were calling the families and kids liars.
Obviously
No.
not.
She should have done this.
Yeah.
She should have put something out to her staff, but it shouldn't have said some untrue allegations were shared. It should have said some allegations were shared that the Buffalo County schools will look into.
The first and foremost, we take these allegations serious.
Yes.
We don't dismiss them.
Right.
We take allegations against children serious. We don't dismiss.
Right. Dismissing makes it sound like you're hiding something.
Now you're implicit. Now you're complicit with it. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not a psychologist or anything. I'm just somebody who can fucking read people a little bit, but this looks like a goddamn lie now.
Imagine that.
So everything else on that I agree with. She should have done.
No, it's fine.
She should have said, "Hey, staff, these allegations are a little damning, but I still appreciate the job you do. I'm sure that every one of you does everything you can.
Absolutely.
But we're going to get to the bottom of these fucking allegations."
Yeah, because that should be the priority.
Yes.
Not calling him a liar and trying to discredit him
Right.
for blowing the whistle to save kids.
Unless you're trying to hide something, superintendent.
Well, the way tort law works, she'll be named. That's the way I see it. And she just dug her own grave. And so did all of those anchors in the Channel 4, Channel 2, all those guys who just drug him through the dirt. The way civil tort law works, you name individuals that all slandered you or all did this crime. Well, guess what?
But they didn't mention names and they whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But
still.
Yeah.
I think it's so lucky that it came across Rich's desk too, because from what it sounds like, he did everything by the book and he tried doing it all the right way, just without reaching out, and they just stonewall him. And lucky enough, he has access to millions of ears, so he can hold their feet to the fire and be like, "Nope, you didn't want to do this the normal way, the easy way, so we're gonna do it the fucking hard way."
And you know what freaks me out is there are millions of cops out there who have the same exact mentality and the same exact drive that Rich has. They just don't have the resource of having those friends to blow the whistle loud.
But what would you?
So they're fucking fighting bureaucracy constantly.
As a society, what would you rather have? Somebody like Rich who goes out of his way to like get to the bottom of a problem,
someone who answers
to
their phone
solve a fucking problem, or do you just want some guy that clocks the fuck out and goes home and doesn't think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's solve a fucking problem.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
I don't know, man.
Let's put a nail in this coffin.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when you guys listen to this, it'll probably be edited and we'll probably bleep out the curse words and whatnot because we're going to put this out as a separate piece of content. But still, I throw my support wholeheartedly behind Rich and the Buffalo PD to get to the bottom of this, because let's focus on the right part of the story. And the right part of the story is the fact that these allegations didn't fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
Rich is doing his due diligence as an investigator. And that's all. And here's the thing. Let's say the investigation turns up that it was nothing.
Right.
Well, then it was nothing.
Right.
But at least you let me do my thorough
What
investigation.
harm is going to come from it?
Nothing.
Exactly.
What harm is going to come from letting Buffalo Police Department do their job?
Now, what harm can be from sweeping it under the rug and saying there's no problem here?
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what this stuff escalates to? It escalates to like school shootings and things like that. You know what I mean? Problems at home, problems at school. It escalates into this shit. It escalates into mental health crisis. It escalates into all manner of things.
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as like one of these kids grabs a fucking rifle, brings it to school and shoots up the school, who do they blame? Well, it's the gun manufacturer's fault, obviously.
Right.
Right? It's definitely not the fact that the kid almost got fucking stolen from the school one time and we did nothing about it. Or the kid was getting assaulted at home and we did nothing about it. It's got nothing to do with that, right? You know, like it's just so hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is gross to me, man. It's just so hypocritical and it bugs the hell out of me. But
And if the school district's just doing what the lawyers are telling them, guess what?
Give
War-
their lawyers.
Warfighters got a lawyer or two.
yeah,
Sometimes I fucking completely disregard everything they fucking say
sure.
because it's the right thing.
That's true.
It depends on if you're willing to do what's right and what's easy.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's really what it comes down to. Like, share, subscribe,
And,
guys.
Honestly, is that what those news channels are doing? Instead of doing what's right, they're doing what's easy. And instead of actually doing some investigative journalism and figure out what the fuck's going on in the story, they're just trying to pin it all and blame Rich to spin it. And then it's less work that they have to do.
I think that the media, they have a scale here, right? How much can Rich High hurt the media versus how much can the school board hurt the media?
Well, I don't think they can understand. I don't think they understand how much Rich High can hurt the media.
Well, but in their local little news station, I don't know.
I guarantee you, this morning when they had their meeting, they were like, "I think we backed the wrong horse."
I think so. I think so. But I mean, but if a normal school board's like one cop or the fucking our school district school board,
Like at what point?
that's probably the
At what
media
point
angle.
is any good? Because essentially that school board, that district, is a government entity, right? They're not funded by private things. They're funded by tax money.
Right.
They're a government entity.
and that's why.
At what point is any government entity just going to be like, hey guys, maybe we should just do the right thing here?
Well, and that's why I asked about how the community response has been. You know, because they're the ones that are
Like-
funding this.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, when the taxpayers get involved, school board, the local government, and the media will change their fucking tune real quick.
Yeah.
So as soon as an election cycle comes up,
Like how much
that
is it to
superintendent's not
advertise
keeping
on
their-
those channels? I'm just saying.
Justin, let's track that now. I love where your head's at.
I mean, how else are you going to combat them other than on their own channel?
Yeah.
But they can't edit that. You're paying for that time slot.
Yeah.
So you can put on there what you want.
Well, unless they just won't sell it to you, that's what I would do.
I have a pretty good idea. They're gonna be looking for advertising dollars soon. So I would assume.
That's when you just go digital with it and say, we tried to put this on this network, but for some reason they wouldn't let us say this. And then you just run the ad.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
And for any of you who are watching this, sorry that we're smoking and not wearing ties.
I'm not
and
sorry.
No.
Cigars and booze and all that. But
If I have to dress up to sit in front of a camera and speak into a microphone to get people to listen and believe what I'm saying, I'm already fucking wrong.
yep.
If I can't just put out,
You're already lying.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Look at this philosophizer over here, dude. It's coming with the fucking one-liners.
Yeah, if any of you ever see me sitting in this chair right here, it's talking to this fucking microphone with a suit on, it's all bullshit. Or somebody died.
Or it's a
Or somebody
911
does.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's blinking twice because there's a problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, fellas, thanks for you know what? For standing up for kids, right?
Well, it's
Like, I mean, like that's
well, I'm standing up for Rich. Rich is standing up for kids.
yeah,
He's in the position to do so. I'm not really. So
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll fucking go to the wall for that, dude.
yeah.
You know, like that's you want to talk about a thankless job.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Should we try to get people in Texas involved too? Like, we could get the governor. Just kidding. He can't stand up for anybody.
Yeah, zing. Ooh. Don't be shit talking Hot Wheels now. Come on now.
Ooh.
No, I am going to be contacting some representatives and some individuals in that world, though.
Yeah.
That I think would be very, very interested
Yeah.
in hearing the whole story on this.
Right.
Yeah. And hey, Kash Patel.
Yeah, if you're listening.
I know there's definitely a field office of Buffalo. Maybe they do some of that investigating stuff that you guys are supposed to be good at, right? Let's look into it. Because apparently Buffalo's not cooperating. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Maybe do your fucking jobs.
Yeah, like when one government entity isn't cooperating with another government entity.
Yeah, but the problem with like that is they don't even know that anything's going on until Rich brought it up.
Yeah.
Or they knew and they're just trying to hide it.
Because it all got stopped at the judge level. That's Rich's fight right now. He's trying to get it above that level.
Right.
He's trying to bring light to it so it goes above.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like the agencies aren't talking. They're just nothing's being said at all. So.
Share this one out, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's blow this one up. Let's show them what Freedom Friends can do, dude. Because this one's important.
Yeah.
It's not your average dick jokes that we are usually known for. You know,
We threw in a couple.
so yeah, we got a couple in there, but you know, we're still us. We're still authentic. I mean, come on now. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, guys. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Good luck, Rich. We got your back, pal. We will 3 little things. Pretty easy. Not hard to do at all. Scotty?
Smoke on.
John?
Drink on.
God damn it, kids. Freedom to fuck on. Later.